Let's go to Vidarbha first. I'll take you through the vote share and seat share numbers for this remember, this is largely where it is a BJP versus Congress battle. This is where the India Alliance did well in the Lok Sabha elections. The question is, has the BJP been able to recover ground and to what extent? Seawater predicts that in the Vidarbha region, it's a dead heat, 41 versus 40. In their poll, the India Alliance has 40% of the vote share, the NDA has 41, just a 1% gap. Converted into seats. Take a look, coming up on your screen the first time. Remember, India Alliance starts 2024 with a big lead. That, though, is now coming down to a lead of just 5. The NDA at 18, the India Alliance 23, with 16 out of 60 seats being too close to call. So 16 out of 60, he says, are within the margin of error, so he'd rather not take a risk. He's leaving them on the side. Yashwant Deshmukh, 23 seats for the India Alliance, 18 for the NDA, 5. So you're really, right now the scoreline is 3-2. 3-2 in favor of the India Alliance. But Rajdeep, talk a bit about Vidarbha and the fact that here, Yashwant is predicting a 5-seat lead for the India Alliance with 16 seats too close to call.
Look, this is out of the lot that I've seen, apart from Mumbai, one of the bigger results. This result, with 16 seats too close to call, gives the India Alliance some hope. The India Alliance has to build its strategy, particularly the Congress around Vidarbha and Marathwada. Those were the two regions. If they can get an edge over the NDA in these two regions, then they have some chance of preventing the NDA of reaching the magic number of 144. So if these numbers hold, let's assume that they get at least half the seats of Vidarbha, and we assume that there will be some independents also winning there, then the NDA's challenge is to score big somewhere else. At the moment, the only big score they've got is in Mumbai and in North Maharashtra. So you're actually seeing, based on 4 regions, almost a dead heat. This is now an election. If Yashwant's numbers are there, they're very different to many of the other outlier polls which are predicting a huge win for the Mahayuti. That's the fascinating part.
Sahil, let's leave the numbers aside just for a second. You've been speaking to all the key political players. Give us the political buzz from within Maharashtra. Who's saying what? Who's looking more confident and who's seeming nervous?
Nervous and nobody is confident, and at the same time nobody has a clue that who is actually going to win, because the margins according to them are going to be quite low, and that is the reason why nobody is actually predicting this time before 23rd that they are going to win. Even if some people do think that the women voters are going to be on their side. The Mahayuti leaders, whenever I speak to, they are totally dependent on the women voters. So they are desperately waiting for the data from the election commission, which will clear their mind whether the women voters have come out large in numbers. I've been speaking to some key players from the Mahayuti, and they are saying in their own constituencies, for the first time they are seeing that the women voters and the male voters are almost at equal level, and that is going to give them an edge of at least 5% more vote share than that of Mahavikas Aghadi. If that comes, then it looks like that the things will be tilted towards Mahayuti, especially in Vidarbha. As we are speaking about that, I could clearly see that the Mahayuti, specifically the BJP, really picked up well after the Lok Sabha. After the Lok Sabha losses, they were completely the heart fallen, and they thought that they will never be able to recover, because the traditional vote bank of the Congress, they found that are being now voting back to the Congress. But the assembly gave them a chance, and they, after Ladli Behna scheme, after the Ladki Bahin scheme, then they again started picking up the things, and they had a better election management. So specifically in the districts where in Lok Sabha elections, they were trailing in all 6 assembly segments. Now it looks like that the BJP has picked up well, and that is how they are hoping that they will be able to cross the mark of 90 seats out of 148 is what they are hoping at this point of time. So it's going to be really tough to call, and that's why we are seeing a lot of seats even in Vidarbha too close to call even in this survey. So that makes it very interesting. I can see at this point of time now.
Because Rahul, it would also technically mean, because the Vidarbha region was where the maximum agrarian distress is. So if you're talking about soya bean, the political crop, all of that then falls on the wayside. then it is actually the women have voted as women and not so much as the identity of a farmer, even with these numbers. Because this is where was the heart of the agrarian distress. And on the flip side, what we did notice on ground, the Congress's candidate selection is something that was deeply criticized, where East Vidarbha is concerned, too many seats which were given to UBT, Shiv Sena. Would that be the weak link? What needs to be seen there?
Let's now come to Konkan. Wrap this up because lots of messages I'm getting about time laga. Jaldi batao. So we don't want to go too fast, but we will give you the data. This is C-voter data for Konkan. We'll take you through the Konkan vote shares. And remember, as I said, in Yashwant's data, each region is swinging wildly. He's actually showing the NDA at 45, the India Alliance 8% behind at 37. So a big lead, a big lead here for the NDA in Konkan when it comes to vote share. Let's now convert this into seats and show you how Konkan is likely to vote. According to C-Voter and Yashwant Deshmukh's team, in the 39 seats of Konkan, the NDA will have 20, the India Alliance will have 8, others will have 2. 9 seats, he says, are too close to call. Rajdeep, if this is the way the cookie crumbles on the 23rd of November, we're going to have a very long day. You know, the India Today group has this big Sahitya Aaj Tak thing happening. I think, we'll be making history in the studio, not getting to see any Shero Shairi. Isn't that the day you've got something happening with Gulzar? So Gulzar specifically requested, I'll only do this if Rajdeep comes and does this with me.
We have an event where we are giving him a Lifetime Achievement Award, well deserved at Sahitya Aaj Tak. So
you have a session with him as well.
I have a session with him. But
you know any Gulzar poetry?
I know film. I told him this. I said, sir, I've watched all your films. I'm not a poetry. I haven't heard all your poetry. But he said, no, we have to do it. So we'll do it. I mean, he's 90. Wow. And so it'll be great to ask him. But more seriously here.
But it's a real problem. We'll be stuck in the studio.
You're welcome. Yeah, but I actually think...
All the best then, Preeti.
Look, there are two kinds of polls coming out. One which are suggesting, as you said, and I think Yashwant's poll is clearly putting that out there, which is that it is a very tight contest. And other polls are suggesting a landslide for Mahayuti. To my mind, the real indicator, if this evening, you tell me late this evening, women have polled 5% more than they did in Lok Sabha, I will go with the landslide group. If on the other hand, it is virtually the same as Lok Sabha, I will say it is seat by seat and it could go on for a very long time. What have we seen so far? Vidarbha, advantage India Alliance. Western Maharashtra, advantage India Alliance. Marathwada, advantage India Alliance. Between these three regions, there are 180 seats. They account for 180 of the 288 seats. In normal times, if I am dominating 3 of the large regions, I will be ahead of my competitor. The competitor is winning where? The BJP-led alliance is leading in Mumbai, 36 seats. It's leading in Konkan, 38, at that 74. And it's leading in North Maharashtra. I think you've included Ahmednagar there as well. So it's a larger thing. But basically, about 118. So in the 118 block, it's advantage, or 108 block actually, it's advantage to the Mahayuti. In the 180 block, and I'm including Ahmednagar there, is advantage Mahavikas Aghadi. So Yashwant Deshmukh is the poll that I'm sure the opposition will hold on to. Because frankly, in general otherwise, you would believe that based on women voters coming out in larger numbers, it is advantage, and I've been saying this, I believe if the Mahayuti wins, they'll win in a sweep.